Freestyle Monte. I am the owner of Chaotic Wrestling. They call me the Chase that runs the place. It's kind of surreal, the course that, my career has taken. I started here at the Chaotic Training Center, went on to debut for Chaotic Wrestling. I basically worked there my entire career to then take over the company that I worked for so long. We have such a storied history here, and literal blood, sweat, and tears and years of hard work that went into this. So then to be able to buy the company and carry on that legacy, and seeing the humble beginnings of this company and these small, pretty unprofessional shows into the huge kind of spectacle and production that it's become today, it's a genuine source of pride for sure.
Hi everybody, this is Jim Cornette. If you're within the sound of my voice, if you're in the New England area, if you want to be a professional wrestler, or you're already a wrestler but you want to be better, the place to come, the New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
The New England Pro Wrestling Academy, this is the same building that housed the Chaotic Training Center when it first opened, I believe, early 2000s. Around 2010, I think it was, sold to Brian Fury, and he renamed it the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. And then I took that over with my business partner, Big Scott, Max Smash Master, in May of 2020.
It's pretty cool. They're intense, for sure. Definitely one of the best schools in the area, if not the best school in the area.
I know you like it, Calvin!
1, 2.
Work us hard. We learn a lot. Hold us to a high standard, which is, what you want when you want to be when you want to be the best. When you want to learn, why not learn from anywhere but the best?
The school does actively feed, Chaotic Wrestling, and training at New England Pro Wrestling Academy is, not a surefire way, but it's a very good road to get into Chaotic Wrestling, because I'm constantly here and I constantly see your work.
That's what I'm talking about!
It's really just kind of a natural progression, and it really relies on the student. The training has a progressionary system, and it's what has led the school to have so much success and produce the kind of wrestlers that we have, because we do have a very regimented tradition of how we build students. But it's really the students that put in the extra work. You can kind of teach to monkey the steps and how to do these things, but then it's the person who makes this their own kind of character, and we work to help kind of cultivate those. But wrestlers are not actors or reactors, and we want to show those characters that have a natural kind of piece of you inside. So it's not just about handing someone an outfit or a gimmick or a character and telling them to go portray that. It's trying to find out who they are and then get them to put that out in front of a stage, in front of people. Especially for a show like ours, it's a very organic kind of thing. We have a long-standing 25-year history. We've always been running it in a serialized kind of fashion. So it's a giant machine that just kind of keeps rolling. It's a never-ending saga and story. And each chapter, what I often tell people about booking is long-term booking isn't always about having a direct plan. It's about just honoring your past.
I was going to retire. I ain't going anywhere.
So you have to look at these characters, and when you get to a show like Thin Ice, next show, we now have John Walters and Ricky Smokes in the main event. You have John Walters, a guy who main evented Cold Furies 2 and 3. He was the standard bearer in this area when I first broke in, and now he's going up against Ricky Smokes, the now of today, and stuff like that. Just kind of writes itself. You put these two characters in, and the history is real. Ricky Smokes is my champion. Everything that you've seen on shows is who that is, and John is who he is, with a past of his own in Chaotic. So how do you put that together? You just kind of put these two forces in a ring together, and the wrestling just kind of happens. wasn't very popular to see intergender wrestling. And we just kind of looked at it and we're like, oh, wait, Davey N, prior to COVID, had won the tag team, title. So we had kind of ungendered that. We were planning on putting Davey into the main event heavyweight picture. So we kind of had all of our titles that women could already kind of wrestle for them. So it really became that the women's title was our only very limited title that forced just 2 women to then have to wrestle for it, which then becomes just a logistical kind of a hurdle when building a roster and trying to have these matches. There's just not as many women as there are men. And so the Panoptic title just comes as a natural kind of extension of that, to kind of, not only just ungender the title, but actively kind of make a title that is for representation, that is, not just saying that we don't care about gender, but actively portraying that, forward and making people see it and having people have these conversations. Whenever I do an interview, it's very common that it comes up, and that's the reason for it, is so that the conversations happen and people start talking about things like this.
The great band here in Watertown, Massachusetts.
It's extremely fortunate that we have the, just fan base that we do, that follows us, to all these different shows, to the different towns that we do. We have a very passionate core fan base that comes to every single show, who've seen these characters, who know these storylines, and that's what they're here to see. There's a lot of independent wrestling, but I do truly believe that there's only one chaotic wrestling. I really think it's the, best art form that there is. There's no other, sort of sport or entertainment that has active live participation from the crowd, where the crowd is just such an active piece of it.
I get to kind of control my direction, control my presentation. It means that I've kind of gotten to a place where I'm trusted. So it means that I've earned that trust of at least a significant portion of the wrestling community, that I can go out and do what I do, and hopefully people like it.
Fans do have the power to, decide who goes over, and decide who they get behind and who they don't, and who gets over as a heel, or who they don't really take, as genuine. And that crowd response is so important to what we do. It's why you really can't have, wrestling without the crowd. And it gets, wrestling has always kind of had a tinge to it, where it kind of has a lower quality to it, kind of lowbrow. And I just think that is very far from true. It is a very highly psychological and scientific, art form. And, if I could change anybody's opinion on that, I would be a happy man.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better.